Hi, greetings, friends. I hope you are all doing well today. This is Patty Bennett. Today is my weekly Friday video, and instead of crafting today, we are just going to do a little Q&A. I'm touching base with you, saying hi, celebrating 29 years as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, sharing some of my favorite things, taking your questions, just having a little fun live today. So I know I'm a moment early, and if you're watching a replay on YouTube or my blog or on Facebook, skip ahead just a couple minutes. I'm just kind of testing out here. I was having some kind of weird issues with my tablet, but it looks like we're all fixed today, so that's good news. So if you're joining live, could you do me a favor and say hi so that I know that I can see comments? And, oh, well, I'm frozen on my tablet, so let's see. Hope I am. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Hi, Shella. Hey, Cindy. Oh, okay. So I think it unfroze. So I think we're all good. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you are here. We're going to give everybody just a moment to find the live because I know I am just a couple minutes early, and then we will get started. So let me just say hi to those who are joining live. And Margaret and Terry, Donna, Pam, Shaylee. That's a pretty name. I like that name. Anne. Hi, Anne. Yeah, so this, Anne is saying happy anniversary. So last Saturday was my 29th 29th Stampin' Up anniversary. Some people call it a Stampiversary. And then today is our 38th wedding anniversary. So we have those two dates really close to each other. And I just can't believe either one of them, like 29 years with Stampin' Up! And 38 years being married. It just does not seem possible, but it is. Time marches on. Here we go, right? So yes, so thank you very much, Anne. That's kind of you. Thank you. Hey, Liz, Johanna, Jen, Margaret, Glenda, Dawn, Lois. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. So many people popping on. Oh, Shaylee, congratulations. She said today is her wedding anniversary as well. Yeah, 6/28 was a good day to get married, I guess, right? Awesome. I'm just, if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at comments. So some of them pop up on my screen on my phone and some of them don't. So I kind of like to check in both places. Oh, yes, 6/28 was a good day. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Joanne. Hey, Nancy, Lori, Sue, Stacy, Jen. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Patricia. I think we are just about at the top of the hour, and so we will go ahead and get started. Thank you, Debbie. Thanks, Rhonda. Thank you, everybody. So nice of you. So let me just go ahead and reintroduce myself and tell you what we are up to today. And oh, Liz, congratulations. 38 years for she and her husband in July. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Christine says it's freezing in Australia, 1.6 degrees Celsius. Oh my goodness. Wow. Alrighty. So my name is Patty Bennett and I come here live each Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, usually, most often, to share a crafting project with you. Sometimes we talk about my craft room, organization, different tips and things. Sometimes we make a project. And then once in a while, I do this and I just do a face-to-face video with you. Or as my husband said this morning, I said I'm doing a face-to-face and he said like face-to-faces. But I can't see your faces, but I knew what he meant. So we are just going to have a fun chat today. I'm going to just share with you some of the highlights over my 29 years that I have enjoyed with Stampin' Up! And moving forward, all the things I'm looking forward to with Stampin' Up! And I will do my best to answer any questions that you might have about being a demonstrator, about maybe the changes I've seen with Stampin' Up!, the products, things in my craft room, like whatever. I'll just do my best to connect with you and answer any questions that you might have. So that's just what I thought we would do today and celebrate. It's not really a milestone year, but 29 years is a long time to do one thing with one company. So I just thought that we would chat. And I just randomly printed out a few fun pictures to show with you, a few throwbacks back to many years ago. So I have a couple photos to share with you. And I just jotted down a few things that are important and special to me as a demonstrator, things I'm thankful for. And yeah, Debbie says, you were a youngin' when you joined. Well, yeah, not really, but I am 64 now, so I wasn't that young when I joined, but yeah, it was a long time ago. So obviously, I think probably the main thing, and I'm pretty sure that most of you would agree with this, the best part about being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator is the stamping, the creating, and the sharing, right? That, I think, for me, is just been the best part because I love to do that. And so why wouldn't you have that as your, what you do every day, right? It's so fun. So I have created a blog. Let's see, I should have looked up the year, and I say this every time, right? I think it was around 2008, 2006 maybe. So almost 20 years. And it wasn't always Patty Stamps. I don't even know what my first blog was called. I can tell you that. But it was called something. I guess I should look that up too. But I had a blog, and that was even kind of before I really even knew what I was doing, obviously. Had no clue. And I was one of the only crafting blogs out there back then. And it was fun to just share what I did. And I remember those first few posts, I didn't even have a digital camera, and I put my card in my scanner and scanned it, and that's what I posted. So they weren't great quality, but that's what I did way back then. And then eventually I had a type pad blog, and then I morphed into, or moved my blog to a different platform, and that's what you see now is my current blog called Patty Stamps. So there are over 6,100 posts there at pattystamps.com for you. Everything from tons of card ideas to tips, techniques, videos, color combinations, and then, of course, reminders about sales or any specials, new products. So a lot of things that I share on my blog. And that's kind of the hub of what I do. And I feel like that's where people can always go and find me. That's like my constant. And so I used to, when I signed up with Stampin' Up, because that was before even websites, really. I mean, in 1995, I don't even know, most of us didn't even have a computer, right? So I would do lots and lots of workshops in people's houses and stamp and create with them. So just kind of going back to this whole, what I love about Stampin' Up is stamping, creating, and sharing. And that allowed me to do that many times a month. And I would do workshops and classes. I did lots of classes. I just did them here in my home, moved into various facilities over the years, like senior centers or rec centers and restaurants and whatnot. And so I did that many, many, many times a month. And that is how I created and connected and shared with my audience. But of course, that was limited to local people because you only want to drive so far to do these things. I think probably to about 2 hours each way was kind of the most that I drove back then to do a workshop or connect with people in a class or whatever. But of course, you can see that that kind of limits your audience and your reach. And when Stampin' Up! Came out with a website, and then I came out with a website, and then many years later, online ordering was introduced, that's when I felt like, okay, now I can reach people all across the United States. Sorry if you can hear the blue jays. They're squawking. They're like reminding me that I might not have tossed out peanuts this morning. Well, I think we did, but I think they ate them all. But anyway, sorry if you can hear that. So, anyway, so back to that. Sorry, that totally distraction. So then I concentrated more on sharing through my blog, posting all of my projects onto Facebook when that became a thing, and then doing YouTube videos, and then adding in Pinterest, posting my projects on Pinterest, and then Instagram, I think, was kind of the most recent platform. So by sharing on all of those platforms, I just really didn't have time anymore to do local events. And about, give or take, 13, 14, 15 years ago, somewhere in that realm, is when I really stopped doing the in-person classes and events and just concentrated completely being online. So that's kind of still where it stands. Pardon me. But I still do an occasional in-person class or team event, a few a year. And a lot of you probably know about the Stamping Cruises that I co-host with Kirsten. So we are doing, my son is home today for the weekend, so he was waving. By the way, the Jays are out there telling us that there are not enough peanuts outside.
They're taking them.
Oh, there. Okay. Thank you. Anyway, so yes, so I still do occasional events, and we do our annual cruise, crafting cruise. So that, and then I partner with Tammy. We do some local events. Kirsten and I do a couple of other local events, but then everything else is really online. So I do a few team events a year that would be an online thing, but every Tuesday I go live with my team. So I kind of feel like we really touch base a lot, and I don't do just, that many specific team events anymore or customer events. So just kind of wanted to give you an overview of the stamping, creating, sharing. That's how it's morphed through my 29 years with Stampin' Up. And I feel like it's just been an amazing journey to learn all of those things, which, many of you did not grow up with technology. And to learn all those things has been really an interesting journey. I'm sure you would agree with me. And I feel like as long as I keep learning and trying and doing new things, sharing on new platforms, learning how to do new things, like Facebook Lives, for instance. That's a whole new world, right? And so learning all those things has been quite a journey, and I've enjoyed it. Yes, I've gotten frustrated. Yes, I've had to Google on a lot of things. Yes, I've asked my son a lot of things. Yes, I belong to Facebook groups that are a great help. So there's, been their challenges, but I think it's been well worth it, because now I get to connect with not only people all over the US, but now all over the world. Because when Stampin' Up! Started going global with the South Pacific and Europe, then that allowed me to connect with friends all over, which kind of brings me to my next point. That's the next thing I wrote down, was friends. Just meeting all the people. I can't imagine what life would be like without having met all of my Stampin' Up! Friends all over the world. I can't imagine life without all of those friends. And many of you are either just a really tried and true and loyal viewer. Many of you are customers. Many of you are members of my Love to Stamp group as a demonstrator. No matter where in that realm you are, I consider you all dear friends. And I'm just so blessed to have so many amazing friends along this journey. I just love it. And of course, all the people at Stampin' Up! That I have met and have become friends over the years. It's just amazing just to think of just all the people. I'm sure you'd agree, right? what would it be like if we didn't have all of our Stampin' Up! Friends that we've met? It would be so different. Life would be so different, wouldn't it? So I'm blessed and so happy to not only share the stamping and creating with you, but to call you my friends. I just love that. Another thing that I wrote down that I absolutely love about my journey with Stampin' Up! Is travel, because I honestly would not have traveled to so many parts of the world, or the US for that matter, without it having been a Stampin' Up! Trip in some capacity. So whether it's been convention, which we used to call it convention, now it's called on stage, or if it has been some kind of a local regional event, if it has been a leadership event, if it was a trip to the Stampin' Up! Home office for a focus group or advisory board when I was on that, or any kind of thing like that, or an incentive trip that I have earned. And so this is a good time just to give the disclaimer. We are required to say when we are talking about any of our achievements with Stampin' Up! That less than the top 2% of the company do earn trips or a top spot in any kind of achievement, and that it is not typical, and that it takes a lot of hard work to achieve those things. So I'm required to say that by law, not just by Stampin' Up. It is just a disclaimer that is looked for when anyone is talking about earning anything with any company. So as an independent contractor. So that's out of the way. I've said it. So there we go. So in earning these Stampin' Up! Trips, as well as just going on trips that I have paid for, I have seen so many amazing places. And one of the things that stands out top on my list, and maybe it wouldn't seem important at all to hear, or for other people, but going up the top of the arch in St. Louis was on my bucket list. And since one of the leadership events was in St. Louis, my family joined me. We went to St. Louis. We got to go up to the top of the arch. And that was just something that has just, like right now I have goosebumps. It gives me chills. That was one of the things I've always wanted to do. And that was actually a long time ago. Gosh, I guess I could have looked up what year it was, but that is something that we would not have just said, okay, let's fly to St. Louis and let's go up the arch. There had to be a reason for us to do that. And we did. And so those are the kinds of things that I love about being a demonstrator, is that I don't want to say it gave me the excuse to go, but it gave me the reason. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Gave me the reason to go do something like that. And oh my goodness, I just love that. So all of the places that I have visited, my family has come with me on lots of the Stampin' Up! Events. Of course, they've come with me on all of the incentive trips, but to Stampin' Up! Conventions or leaderships or things like that, they have come with me on a lot of them, which I feel is just a huge blessing. I love that we've been able to travel around. Some of the incentive trip highlights for us have been Bermuda. I know a lot of people hear Bermuda and they think, oh, it's, down in the Caribbean somewhere. It is actually out in the Atlantic. So both times that we have gone on the Bermuda cruise, we've sailed out of New York, which gave us the opportunity to go to New York first, which is amazing, right? But Bermuda is actually like a day and a half east from New York, or kind of between New York and the Carolinas, straight out in the Atlantic. And that's where it is. So it's just sort of this destination unto itself. And when you cruise to Bermuda, generally you stay there in one port for 4 days. And it just gave us the best experience to explore Bermuda. Just love Bermuda. So we've done that twice. Again, that's something where we wouldn't just say, well, let's just go to Bermuda, because from California, that's a long way to go. So things like that, the Alaska trips, the Caribbean trips, Hawaii, those are all just amazing places that I just feel so blessed to have done that as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And again, just the disclaimer that I have to say, top 2% of the company earn the trips like that, and they take a lot of work to earn. So there, just double disclaimer there for you. Thank you. I just see a lot of people popping on saying happy stamp anniversary. Thank you. Yes, 29 years last week as a demonstrator. Amazing, right? Oh, thank you. Margarita says she's happy to hear about my Stampin' Up! Journey. Thank you. I appreciate that. So just recapping, the stamping, creating, and sharing, all the friends and all the travel, those really are the highlights, I think, of this 29 years. And I'm just so blessed and happy that this has been my journey. I just love it. I absolutely love it. My career before that, before Stampin' Up! Was in architecture and engineering, and that's still a special place in my heart. I love that whole world. My dad was an architect. My husband and son work at an engineering for a structural engineering firm. So I still get to hear about all of that, kind of that world. It still feeds my soul. I did continue to do structural drafting my first 4 or 5 years as a demonstrator. So I did both. And then we just made the decision that I would just only be a demonstrator. Let's see. Claire was saying, did you join as a demonstrator or were you a customer first? So great question. Let me back up to that part of the story. In 1992, our son was 1 year old. My mom was up here for a visit, or it was maybe both my parents, but specifically my mom and I went to a crafty, wasn't really a craft store. It was a sort of a consignment store where people who made, like, remember toll painting when that was really popular? Uh-oh, Anna says no sound. Can somebody just let me know if I'm okay before I continue? I don't want to just keep going if there's no sound. I'll just have a quick drink while somebody lets me know. Oh, sound is fine. We're okay. Sounds good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Okay, I will keep going. So my mom and I went to this shop here in Hercules where, I didn't even say that. We live in the San Francisco Bay Area, across the bay from San Francisco. So we've lived here since 1986. Anyway, so we went to this little crafty store and they had like wreaths, you know, dried flower wreaths, silk flower swags. I'm trying to think of all the things. Toll painting, that really stands out in my mind. And we were looking around and my mom says to the owner, I noticed you don't have rubber stamps here, because she knew that I loved to do rubber stamping. Back then, rubber stamping was like the little teddy bear on the envelope and maybe the heart stamp at the top of my stationery. Okay, that was rubber stamping back then for me. And the owner said, no, I don't know much of anything about rubber stamps. You know, I don't really know where to find them. I don't know how to use them. So, but you know, it would be a nice addition to the shop. And my mom says, my daughter could do that for you. No, you have to understand, back then, I was one of the shyest people on the planet. I would have rather just crawled in a cave than talk to a stranger, or high school was very painful for me because I was so shy. I was so shy, okay? And so for my mom to say that I could do that for her and she was a stranger, I'm like, Mom, you know, like when you kick somebody under the table, it was kind of that reaction, like, Mom. But you know how there's a reason for everything. God has a plan for everything. That was the plan all along, because without her saying that, it never would have launched this journey. So long story short, the owner of the company, the shop, it was a shop, you know, one shop. she ended up giving me basically free reign because I knew about all those stamp companies. Remember, like All Night Media, PSX, Rubber Stampede. Remember all those companies. There was probably about 40 or 50 rubber stamp companies back in the 90s. The owner of this shop gave me free reign to contact any of those companies and say, we would like to purchase stamps and ink and accessories and paper and all that wholesale, and we would like to sell it through our shop. And I would be the teacher on Saturdays. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was so nervous about this. I really didn't want to do this, but I did it. And I would practice literally for probably 8 or 10 hours about what I was going to say or teach. And I was so nervous. And my poor husband had to listen to me practice. Bless his heart. So I taught classes at this shop for 2 or 3 years. And let's see, 1993 or 4, my sister-in-law went to a Stampin' Up workshop down in Southern California, and she asked the demonstrator for an extra catalog. She mailed me the catalog, and she said, I know you're into rubber stamping. You might like this. Like this, that was an understatement. Loved it. And I started ordering through that demonstrator from the catalog. So I was teaching at this little shop. I was ordering Stampin' Up products for my own use. And I don't know if you know this, back then, Stampin' Up carried products from all of those companies. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was about 25, 26 companies that we carried product from. Printworks is another one that stands out in my mind. And thank you. You're all trying to help Anna. Thank you. I was just distracted by your comments. Thank you for trying to help her. So back then, the Stampin' Up catalog felt very familiar. Esther remembers. Yes, Esther, you've been around a long time like I have. So is that demonstrator still a demonstrator? Yes, I'll get to that, Shannon. Yes. So the catalog felt very familiar to me because I was already ordering from all these companies for this shop. And then the shop ended up closing because the owner and her husband retired and moved, I think, to Idaho, I think it was. So they ended up closing the shop. But I had all these lovely ladies that were there every Saturday with me making cards. And so I said to them, so we can kind of continue this. If you don't mind coming to my house, we can still order through Stampin' Up because it's all the same product that you're used to. It's the same companies. And so I called the lady the name on the back of the catalog, and I explained this situation, and I said, I would like to sign up as a demonstrator so that I can teach these ladies and have classes and take orders. Now, of course, I was nervous about that because I thought, you know, there's a minimum that we had to submit. And I don't remember back then if it was monthly or quarterly or exactly what it was. 29 years is a long time ago to remember the details. But I do remember I was nervous about that and thinking, you know, I don't want to have to take money out of our family savings or anything to continue this journey. But I'll give it a try. I'll sign up and see if I can make a go of it. So yes, this lady is still active. Her name is Sandy Hancock. She is still my upline. She still lives in Southern California, and I am still in her first level as a demonstrator. So yes, Shannon, to answer your question, yes. So I had these ladies coming to my house and they would order, and kind of as they say, the rest is history, because 29 years, I have not once had to take money out of our family savings, which I told you I was nervous about that. And I have always been able to meet my minimums or more and still share. Some of these ladies I am still in contact with. Now, not all of them still order because 29 years later, they have a ton of product to use, right? I'm trying to think who probably is my longest customer, and that would probably be Shirley. And I call her mom too, because she is like a mom to me, especially when I lost my mom. And then in 2006. And so she is probably my longest time customer that is still active, still purchasing, and she signs up from time to time as a demonstrator, and then she's currently a customer. So yeah, it's just amazing how those friendships and people have still been, you know, in my life, in my heart, part of my world 29 years later. Well, actually more than that, because some of them I met in 92 at that shop. So that's a long time. But that anyway, yeah, and I don't know how we got onto that story. Oh, I know. So somebody asked, was I a customer before I was a demonstrator? So yes, I did order for I don't know, a year or two out of the Stampin' Up! Catalog before I joined in 1995 as a demonstrator. So that was the really long answer to that question. I'm sorry that was so long, but you know me. I love to give the roadmap and give the explanation and kind of give the whole story. So along that journey, this kind of brings me to my fourth point of these were my four favorite things about being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, is training and sharing and helping other people to kind of have the same journey that I've had. So over the years, I wish there was some way that I would have known how many people have either been a customer or have joined my team as a demonstrator. Currently, there are about 540 people on my Stampin' Up! Team as a demonstrator. And I would imagine it's been in the thousands over the years, because most people come, stay for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years and then move on either to another hobby, or they just have the product that they need and they stop buying, or, you know, whatever, lots of reasons, right? Lots of reasons. We take care of an elderly parent, we're homeschooling, we have little kids, whatever it is. But I wish there was some way that I would have known to keep track of all that. When I first joined, I did not really understand the value of building a team, and I did not. My first 3 years, I did not have a team, and of course, I'll never forget my first person that came to me and wanted to join my team, and she said to me, "I would like to do what you do. How do I sign up?" And I was like, I don't know. Let's find out. Right? So kind of fun. But where was I going with that? I don't know why I told you that. But anyway. So building a team has been an absolute joy to me, to be able to mentor both men and women. There have been lots of men, probably a couple dozen over the years, who have joined. There are still some that are active on my team. But just being able to help these people achieve something they wanted to achieve, whether it was just enjoying a discount, whether it was having the opportunity to share what they love with others and do their own classes or events, or to build a team on their own. There have been all ranges, of course, all ranges of people that have joined my team. And I love that I have been able to help people. And I know for a fact that I have helped people who were like me, what I shared with you a few minutes ago about being absolutely painfully shy and never wanting to talk to anybody, to being someone who can present at large events or small events, or do these weekly lives. You know, I do twice a week. Once a week is with my team. Once a week is with you, public public live. I just feel like what a blessing to have been able to come out of that shell and be comfortable in speaking and sharing, and through that mentoring other people. I feel like paying it forward is really important. I love that aspect of what I do. And I just hope that other people, maybe, who knows, maybe 29 years down the road, someone will be saying, you know, Patty helped me, or Patty did this for me, and I enjoyed connecting with her or learning from her, or, you know, whatever it was. Maybe that will happen. And that would be amazing and wonderful. So paying it forward, training, sharing, and just helping other people to enjoy this same kind of a journey has just been a joy to me. I love it. And, you know, I don't have any, oh, Cindy, let's connect about that. Let me know. You can message me. We'll chat about that. Let's see. Cindy says, I've been a long-term customer of Stampin' Up! Since 1992. That is awesome. And she still has some of her first stamp sets. Yes, I do too. I have a couple of very old ones that I keep just for posterity. And that's always fun to look back on them. Thank you, Tammy. She says, I do an incredible job. Nancy says she loves the stories. Thanks for sharing. Kathy says the same. Oh, Claire, thank you, everybody. You are all so sweet. Yeah, our moms get us in trouble, Claire. Exactly. You know, for years, I was not happy about the fact that my mom did that. I say did that, like it felt like she did something to me to make me kind of come out of that shell. But like I said, it was all part of God's plan, and look where it ended up. And, you know, bless her heart. I love her for it. I love the fact that that's what started this journey, because without that, I don't think I would ever be here today doing this. So I don't know if you all remember, but when I reached the 1 million mark in sales, I dedicated my stamp set design to her. It was called Ribbon of Courage, because she did pass away of cancer. And so it was in honor of her. And it felt like a full circle to come back to that and to honor her with that. And, I feel so special that happened. No, Jean said, did my mom ever sign up as a demonstrator? She did not. She loved quilting and gardening. Those were her forms of artwork or creativity. And so she did stamp a little bit with me when I would go visit her. You know, we would stamp a few things together, but it was never like her passion or something that she wanted to do. But she loved quilting and, you know, and color. I think that's why I love color so much. All the colors that she would put together and patterns. And of course, those of you that know, my dad was also a watercolor artist for decades. He started that when he was about 12 years old or so, and painted up until the year that he passed away a couple years ago. So between two very lovely artistic or art appreciative parents, I'm not sure exactly how to say that, but so my love of color, composition, art, patterns, all those things, got that all from them. Charlotte asks if I quilt. I do not. I always say that if I were to ever take up another kind of a big endeavor, because quilting is not like a little thing, right? You kind of have to go all in if you're going to do quilting. I've always said that that's what I would love to do, and have a room full of fabric and choose all the patterns. But I've said this before, I'll be honest, I think what would happen would be I would be a fabric collector. I would love to look at all the fabric. I would love to put patterns together. But I probably would never end up finishing a quilt, because quilting is like a big time investment, right? At least with a card, you can sit down and in an hour you have a finished project and you're good. And so I love that about stamping, is that it's not a year-long process. My grandmothers, my great-grandmother, my great aunts, they all quilted. And so I have many of their quilts, and I love having them. I appreciate every stitch. I understand what goes into it, but I probably will never do that. Oh, Liz, good question. She said, are you originally from California? Did you grow up in the Bay Area? Yes, I am a California native. I still live in California, and I was born and raised in Pasadena, which is Southern California. For those of you unfamiliar, it's in the Los Angeles County area. Some of you might be familiar with the Rose Parade or the Rose Bowl, that's Pasadena. And I grew up decorating the floats as a volunteer with the Lutheran Hour, our youth group at church. And so I love Pasadena, has a big place in my heart, was born and raised there, but I have lived in the Bay Area since 1984. And that's where I met and married my husband. And we have today, for those of you who missed the beginning, today is our 38th wedding anniversary, and we have a 33-year-old son, Jason. So we still live here in the Bay Area, just across the bay from San Francisco. Beautiful area. I love this area. Love this area. Let's see. Oh, Terry remembers my stamp set, the Ribbon of Courage. Thank you. Cheryl, you'll have to watch the replay. We're just kind of wrapping up for today. Let's see. Oh, Charlotte does both quilting and stamping. I would love to, maybe if I had another space. This space, you've heard me talk about this, is very small. It's 8 feet square. So I don't have a lot of extra space. But it's, of course, spilled over into all parts of the house. And then my office is downstairs where I do all the blogging and photo editing and all of that stuff. And sending catalogs and prizes and gifts and whatnot. That is all downstairs. Yeah, it does take a lot of time. Yay, Native Californians, Robin. Thank you. Beth says, I've been an inspiration since she first found Stampin' Up 13 years ago. Thank you. Yeah, passionate penguin collector. That would also be me. Yes. Yes, pedal pushers. That's what they called the Lutheran Hour volunteers, and we were called pedal pushers, and we did decorate the floats every year. Yes, it was just such a fun process to learn about and to be a part of. Yes, Ruth, I think that would be something that would be interesting to me. She says for quilting, you need to have your cuts and stitches very precise. That is something that I would love, because in my previous world of being in structural engineering drafting, you have to be very precise. You know, either the building stands up or it falls down. And so you have to be very precise. And I love that world. And you'll notice in my designs, my card designs, everything is usually really like perpendicular, very straight, very symmetrical layers. It's just that brain for me as well. So yeah. Let's see. Yes, we were here for the 1989 earthquake. Jean was asking about that. Yes, my husband and I worked together. He actually hired me, and that's how we met. And we were working together at a structural engineering office up on like the second or third floor above a parking garage. So that building swayed quite a bit. And that was a very scary time, because that was before you could just jump on your phone and be like, oh, well, what was that? And where was it centered? And what's going on? And I remember it was the end of the day, 5:00 p.m. We all just drove home and, of course, turned on the news to see the devastation, and just seeing the enormity of what that did to the entire Bay Area. That was a scary time. Oh, Cheryl says she paper crafts and cross stitches. I used to cross stitch a ton. That was my passion. But as my eyes have gotten worse over the years, may not know this about me, but I got glasses when I was 3. So my eyes have deteriorated every single year for 62 years. So I have really strong contacts and reading glasses, and I still would not be able to do cross stitch anymore, which is sad. But yeah, if I could, I would. That I loved to cross stitch. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed a question. Are you near Sausalito? We are almost directly across the bay from Sausalito. Let's see. What was the biggest change at Stampin' Up! That surprised me? Well, you know, I think probably just the evolution of Stampin' Up! Having a website and going online. That's been the biggest change. And sorry if you've all heard me say this, but I vividly remember being at convention. Oh, I forgot to show you guys these funny photos that I printed out. So there was me at convention in 2002. And I think that character, I think they called him Stampy, or maybe it was a girl. I don't know if it was a guy or a girl under there, but I think they called that character Stampy. Isn't that funny? And then here is me in 2003 with Shelly, the co-founder of Stampin' Up. And the funny thing about this photo is that literally just hours after this photo is when I received the Heart of Stampin' Up award. And of course, Shelly knew that I was getting it and she couldn't say anything. And I think back to that picture where she was just probably like dying, thinking like, I'll see you on stage tomorrow. So I treasure this picture. And then here is a group of us. I think this was 2005 at convention, because back then we called it convention. And this, I loved this. This was the highlight. You went to convention, you got your catalog, you camped out somewhere on the floor in the convention center, and you looked through your catalog with your friends. So a few highlights that I had to share with you there. Now I forget what the question was. Oh, the biggest change. So I was saying, I vividly remember in Las Vegas at one of the Stampin' Up conventions when they announced on stage, we are going to have a website. And I'm sure they expected everyone to cheer, and it was pretty quiet. We're like, what does that mean? What does that do? Why do we care about a website? We didn't know what that meant. And as we dispersed out of the main hall to go to our next class or lunch or whatever our next thing was, there was a man at a little table with a computer, and it wasn't even like live. It was just, I think it was like maybe even a piece of paper or something on the screen showing what this website was going to look like, or maybe it was live. I don't, whatever. And kind of walked by, and then I went back and I said, so exactly what is this? What does the website mean? What are we doing with that? And I don't even know what he said, but whatever it was, I didn't understand it. And I came home, and I actually had a friend who was in whatever her job was, with technology and computers. And so I said, okay, I need to know, what does it mean to have a website? What does it do? Why do we need that? What is that? Is that the same thing as email? Can you explain this to me? So that would be my answer to what has been the biggest change, the biggest impact, and one of my most vivid memories, because that for me changed my world, my Stampin' Up world, going from multiple in-home events every week to being an online person that creates and shares through all these online platforms. So that would be the biggest change. Let's see. Oh, Stacy says one of her favorite restaurants is Salto's Crab House. She likes to go there. Our favorite restaurant is Spinnaker well, I shouldn't say our favorite restaurant. One of my favorite places in the Bay Area is Spinnaker in Sausalito. And it's kind of because my parents love to go there. So now I love to go there, and that's one of our favorites. So yeah, Sausalito is a wonderful place. Nell says, I used to quilt, now I stamp. Yes, so Debbie, that's a good question. She said, have I ever made quilt cards? And yes, I love making quilt cards. So cutting out shapes that look like a quilt and then embossing the whole card front with an embossing folder that kind of looks like stitching. I love doing that. So those are my faux quilts, right? My pretend quilts. Let's see. Oh, Terry, you lived near me from 87 to 90 in Alameda. Yes, so you experienced the quake as well. Well, that was very scary. Johanna says, do I ever scrapbook? So I used to scrapbook a lot, back in the 80s and 90s with the full 12 by 12 page where you would, put all the pieces on a 12 by 12 page. And then when Stampin' Up partnered with, why is my mind going blank? Becky Higgins. I can't think of what she calls it. You know what I mean? Where the pockets, where you slip like a card and a photo and journaling into the pockets. Something Life. I don't know why my mind is going blank. It's old age. Well, I know why my mind goes blank. It's old age. But anyway, so then I did that for a lot of years, and I am currently, a good 20 years behind. You know, I've got all the pictures. Remember when we used to get double and triple prints of everything at Target, and we have all these photos, and yeah, so project life. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, everybody. So I'm way behind, but at least, you know, my son has baby books, and he's got his early years documented. So, you know, I feel pretty good about that. Let's see. Oh, Diane, how sweet. She said, I met you at Onstage in Florida and we took a picture together. Oh my gosh, you remember that? That is so fun. Thanks, Diana. Oh, here's a fun question. Lois says, do I prefer photopolymer stamps or red rubber? Do I find any differences? So I love both. I definitely prefer photopolymer for greetings or sentiments so that you can see through them and you can see where you're stamping. If it's something, you know, like a flower, it's kind of okay if it's a tiny bit crooked or whatever, because like it's nature, right? That's totally fine. Or if you're stamping and die cutting out the airplane, the ice cream cone, whatever, it doesn't really matter because you're not relying on it being super straight. But for greetings and things that I want really straight, I love photopolymer. I really love stamping with both. I don't think I really have a preference. So whatever Stampin' Up throws at us, whatever they make it in, I'm good with it. I just use whatever. So I don't really have a preference other than making sure I get it straight with the photopolymer. But that's a great question. Ah, Cindy likes crochet and then stamping. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So that was just kind of the journey that I just wanted to share with you and just give you kind of, those were my top 4 things that come to mind when I think about this journey. And just, you know, if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer. I would love to answer your questions if you have them. And if not, I will let you go. I will tell you next week coming up, I am using one of the new products. Stampin' Up has this new set of layering masks, and I will be using this bundle. It's called Frosted Forest. So we'll be stamping some cards with that, and I'll show you the masks and how to layer them. So we'll be back to our regularly scheduled stamping program next Friday. But I just thought today would be fun to just chat face to face and go over some of the things that I have loved about my 29 years as a demonstrator. And my plan, which, you know, maybe some of you are wondering, so she's not saying goodbye, is she? No, I'm not saying goodbye. My plan, our goal as a couple, as a family, I would love to work another 10 years at least as a demonstrator. That would be my preference, and so God willing, that's what will happen. I love what I do, so I would love to be able to do that, and hopefully that will be the plan. We'll see. You know, they always say don't tell God your plan, but you know, I feel like I can at least share it. Oh good, thank you, Anne. I'm glad you enjoyed hearing it. Thank you, Sue. Thanks, Cindy. Yeah, memory lane, Esther, definitely. There are so many of you who have been demonstrators and or somehow associated with Stampin' Up for as long as I have. And that's another thing I love, is the really long-term demonstrator friends and customer friends that I have. I love that part. You're welcome, Anna. Thank you. Oh, so Dee Dee, I don't even know what that means. She says she's expanded from paper crafts to include sublimation. I'm going to assume that's amazing and awesome, and I will have to look that up. I don't know what that is. Thank you. She says, I love your videos. Thank you so much, Dee Dee. That's kind of you. Thanks, Debbie. Thank you, Kathy and everybody. Oh, great. Christine has a question. Question. When it comes to getting rid of the stamp sets for the new catalog, are there any stamp sets that you want to keep, or do they all go? So you may know from my posts and hearing my stories before that I put my retired product into mystery boxes and get rid of all my retired products once or twice a year. So mainly because this is not a large space and I just can't house 29 years worth of stuff. There's no way. Not even 5 years worth of product. I just can't. So who is it? Christine was asking, do I keep anything? So I do. The things that I keep, penguins. I tend to keep anything that has to do with like golf, bowling, football, because my husband and son enjoy those sports. So I would keep those because if I wanted to make a card for them specific to a sport or something, I would keep that. For a while, I kept graduation because not only our son, but like his friends or our nieces and nephews were, there's a good Patty word, nephews, were in that era of graduating, you know, so I kept those stamps for a while. I try to kind of think ahead, you know, what might I need? And I do tend to keep several Christmas sets. So I'm going to try to do this backwards. And oh, I did it. So like right there, that amount of sets right there are retired. So I have kept some things, you know, like the Nativity Christmas set, of course, any penguin Christmas sets. There are a few Christmas sets with really lovely greetings that I like to keep. I have kept all of the scripture, or I call it faith and grace. That's sort of the category that I call it. So anything that's inspirational, uplifting, a scripture quote, I've kept all of those sets. And let's see, I'm trying to look. I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of them way up at the top there that I have kept that are that category. I have a box right behind me that I keep that I'm using in my daily devotional journal that you've seen me posting about, which I've taken a lot of pictures and I need to post about that again, give you an update. But anyway, so yeah, those are the kinds of things that I keep, but I try not to keep a ton because I just don't have space. But I do get rid of retired colors, retired designer paper, patterned paper, and specialty papers because I just don't, like, that's all I have room for right there. That's all my paper. So you can see that I would not have room for retired colors and products. But that's a great question, Christine. Thank you. Thank you, Phyllis. She said she enjoys my stories and project ideas. Liz says, thanks, Patty. You've been welcoming to those of us from close to my heart. Your training and posting is so helpful, and she loves hearing about my journey. Thank you, Liz. And I'll just say that I have loved getting to know the close to my heart makers who have come to Stampin' Up, either as part of my team, part of Stampin' Up as a whole, or a customer, or just have come across my path, maybe as some kind of, you know, with a question or whatever. It's just been really fun to infuse all the new energy and people and excitement. It has really been fun, a really fun part of the last few months. Let me see. The comments go by fast on my phone, so I have to look down here. You're welcome, Robin. Thank you. Stampin' Shannon says, what is your favorite stamp set? Well, I'm a little partial. I would have to say probably that the set I designed for my Million Achievement was the Ribbon of Courage. That's probably my all-time favorite set. But very close would be any set with a penguin. You know, I love penguins. And so anything with a penguin would definitely rank right up there with the Ribbon of Courage set. Oh, Liz, thank you. She said, you've made a difficult thing more exciting. You just made my day. You made my week. You made my month, Liz. Thank you. I try to help, right? To make it fun, to impart knowledge, to like all the things. I try really hard. And thank you. That means so much to me, Liz. Thank you. I'm glad that I can't imagine if the tables were turned. And in fact, I just was talking to Stampin' Up yesterday about this. And I said, I can't imagine me having to give up my familiar world and go to a different company with what's familiar to all of them. And so, God, I don't want to cry, but yeah, Liz, thank you. So I'm glad that if I was able to help you in any way, thank you. I'm glad that that helped. Thank you. Nancy says, I have a gift of encouragement. You're so sweet. Stampin' Shannon is asking, is that set still available? No, it's not. I wish that Stampin' Up! Would bring back a few of the favorite sets, which I heard from so many people that that was a favorite set. And I don't say that because it was something that I helped design. I'm not saying it because of that, but it's because it means so much to so many people to have an encouragement set to share with their loved ones who are going through a difficult time. Or it doesn't even have to be cancer related. We designed it such that it was, you could use it for any type of, it could be Alzheimer's. It could be something to do with autism. Like there are so many ways you can use that set. Oh, when was that set, Anna? 2015 was when I reached the million sales achievement level. And so I think it actually came out the next year, or I can't remember. Let me see if there's a date on it. Let me grab one of mine. Okay, so like it's always been right here. Where did I move them? Where did I move my ribbon of courage? That's kind of crazy. Oh, they're all over here. I don't know why I moved them to that side, but I did. Oh, this is funny. Look. Okay, so let me show you the set first. I was going to see if there's a date on it. So this was the set. And so I wanted a ribbon with really beautiful little flowers and hearts in it. A heart with flowers in it. I'll read you these if you're not familiar. And then the solid one. And then there was a set of dies that went with it. So the greetings that I selected was, with faith, all things are possible. Live every moment, laugh every day, love with all your heart. Sending love and hugs to you, and courage. Well, that's separate. Courage was separate. So those were the greetings that I wanted. And the designer actually told me, I think it's okay to share this with you, that they actually bought this font so that they could use it in this set, because I wanted something just really, really beautiful that would just make you smile and, feel a lot of love. So I just want to show you something funny. When I was pulling that off the shelf, I didn't even remember that it also came in wood. And look, I have a wood set that's not even mounted. I didn't even realize I had that. Does that bring back memories? So let's see. The date. Oh, do they not have the... I thought they had the copyright date. So it doesn't. But I'm not sure. This either was released in 2015 or 16, because I designed it in 15, and then I can't remember exactly which one. I demonstrated it on stage in San Diego at an event, but I'd have to look back and see what year that is. You know how things blur, right? Yes, Stacy, it had dies to go with it. Yes, exactly. I'm just trying to see if I was missing any questions here. Thank you, Sandy, for your very kind comment. Show the red rubber. So this is funny. Okay, if I lift this up, it's all going to fall. So I punched them all out, but they're not attached to the block, so I can't tip this very far. Oh yeah, see? They're not attached. I don't know why I did that. Why would I have that like that? I should mount it and just use it, right? Oh, yes, Carla still uses it for her friends. Yes. Oh, Lois is going to look for the set at craft sales. Yeah. Oh, Rhonda still has it. Stampin' Shannon's going to eBay to look for it. Anna has it. Aw. Oh, look on the sticker. Does the sticker have the date? It does not have a date. They don't. There aren't dates on this. I think at some point they stopped putting dates, and I'm just looking on the inside packaging. Yeah, there isn't a date on there either. But anyway, that's, yeah, 2015 is when I designed it, and then it was either released 15 or 16. So, oh, wait, what was that? It went by too fast. Hang on, let me find this comment. Oh, Anne says, I have a May 24th, 2017 blog post about the set. I know I have lots of blog posts about it, but maybe that was one of the first ones. And it's, who asked, Stampin' Shannon said, what is it? It's Ribbon of Courage. I know it's backwards, but it's Ribbon of Courage is the name of the set. And just checking all of the questions. I think I caught them all. If you had a question and I didn't see it, could you repeat it? Because like I said, they start going by really quickly, and sometimes I just can't see them all. I'm glad that so many of you still have it. Thank you. Yes, I love the sentiments too, Genevieve. But, oh, I think what I was saying was, I do wish that Stampin' Up! Would bring back some of the earlier Million Achiever sets. I think it would be a really fun online category to have all the Million Achiever sets listed there, and then bring back some of them, like rotate them in, right? I really think that that would be fun. So you can always contact Stampin' Up! If you would like to have that as an option, because the more people they hear from, they will consider it doesn't matter what it is, right? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Faith has my set autographed. Yes. So when they debuted the set at the Stampin' Up! Event and I demonstrated it, I did not know they were going to give it away as prize patrol. And so all the people that got it came over to my table, and there was this long line down the aisle, and they all wanted me to autograph it. And I was like so touched. I couldn't believe that moment of my life. That was like, what? That was a crazy moment, but I just felt like, really felt my mom's presence, and it just felt amazing. It felt amazing. Yes, put it in the suggestion box if you're a demonstrator. And if you're a customer, you can just email DS, it stands for Demonstrator Support, ds@stampinup.com. You don't have to be a demonstrator to email them. You can email them and say, I would like to see such and such a set offered again, or whatever, anything, whatever you want to email about. Yeah. Oh, Tammy says she'll never get rid of her set. Aw. Oh, Christy says it's a keeper. Thank you, everybody. Katie says, do I follow anyone? So not really. I don't subscribe to any blogs. I do my best to be an encouragement when I see people posting online. I don't, always obviously don't see everything. I try to like and to comment, and specifically for team members in my Love to Stamp group, I try to find their posts, or maybe they just come up in my feed, but I really don't have time to just be online or to follow other people or to watch, videos, or I wish I did. I just don't, but that's a great question. Thank you, Kelly. Very kind of you. Thanks, Pat. Oh, it's on eBay. Okay. Jean, that's a great point. Yeah. If they did some sort of a pre-order sale, they could make a certain amount. That's a great idea. Ruth says she remembers that moment when I signed her set. Yeah, I'll just never forget that moment. That's, yeah. Diana has the set, but not the dies. I think they kept the dies after the set retired because there were other stamped sets with the ribbon. I believe are you ready for lunch?
I'm just waiting for you.
Oh.
Keep going.
Hubby's standing there. I'm like, maybe he's ready for lunch. Maybe that's my cue to stop jabbering.
Yeah.
Or yammering, as my dad would say. No? Okay. Anyway, I think Jan Wakeland did her million set with the ribbon shape that also went with the dies. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but I think they did still keep the dies for a bit. But anyway, yeah, Shannon, I did read the sentiments, but I'll read them again. With faith, all things are possible. Live every moment, laugh every day, love with all your heart. Sending love and hugs to you. And then courage. So those were the sentiments that were with the set. Oh, yes, she did. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Yeah, well, I really think it would be super fun if Stampin' Up! Could reoffer some of these, oldies and goodies and whatnot. And so if you like that idea, feel free to contact them. Thank you, Sharon. I'm glad you like the sentiments. Yes, Jan Wakeland. I was pretty sure it was Jan's set. Yeah. Well, I will let you all go. I think my family is ready for some lunch. It's 12:10 p.m. here. So I think we will grab some anniversary lunch. I don't know, maybe go all out and do Taco Bell or something really exciting, right? I don't know. But I will get this video onto YouTube later today. It'll be on my blog tomorrow. So if you're looking for a replay, that's where you will find it. And then, like I said, next Friday, we will be back to stamping and we will be using that new Frosted Forest with the matching masks. And I can't wait to show you because it's just beautiful. And you could do this for different seasons. And there's also the pine tree mask that goes with the pine tree stamp. So we'll be exploring both of those in our live next week. And I'm excited to show you that. I have it ready here. I'm ready. Can you believe that? I have it ready already. Who am I? I don't know. Thank you, Debbie. So sweet of you. Yes, online exclusive Stamp and Share. And that's kind of what I was saying, was that if they had just an online section for some returning popular sets or million, it's hard not to say $1 million achiever because in the US we're $1 million achievers, but they call them million sales achievers because in other countries it's, like pounds or other denominations. So anyway, whatever. Anyway, yeah, it'd be nice if they included a lot of them. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. Thank you all for joining me. So sweet of you to spend some time with me. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, whatever it is that you're doing. And I will see you live next week. Bye, everybody.